NBC that talk about freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, that the NFL players have the right to assemble, they have the right to speak. I guess they have the right to practice their religion at halftime or during a game. I guess they do, according to the pundits. May I state first, fast, and factually, that the First Amendment does not apply to private employers. If Richard Samantha, the Steven Spielberg of the Mark Levin Show, would have a side business, say a courier in New York City, it was the Samantha Courier Service delivering packages. And if someone showed up with a package for you in New York City, in Memphis, in Los Angeles, in Hawaii, from the Samantha Courier Service and said, here's your package, sir, but let's you and I talk about global warming. If I would go out to Red Lobster, I love their flaky biscuits, and I would order my endless shrimp tomorrow night when I get off the air, and then the server would come up to me and said, you know what, let's talk about North Korea. Here's some literature I want you to consider. Each of their employers would have the right, maybe the duty, to tell that employee, haven't been warned once, you can't do that at work. Your freedom to speak does not go with you into a private employment situation. Never has, never will, and it doesn't. It does not apply. The First Amendment has no application to private employment of whatever type. I've memorized the First Amendment because of my requirements to get my Juris Doctorate degree. Congress shall make no law. May I say again, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That has nothing to do with the National Football League. Zero, zilch, nada, or your private employer. Wherever you work, if you're a truck driver, if you're a server, if you're a pharmaceutical salesman, if you're a warehouseman, if you're a housewife or a house husband, whatever you do in your life, you cannot at work engage in whatever freedom of form of speech that you desire to be applicable, nor can you practice your religion at work in your uniform. When FedEx delivers to you a package, or at Walmart, the greeter who welcomes you to Walmart, that Walmart greeter does not have the constitutional right to start shouting about what it's like to be a Jew or a Gentile or a Catholic or a Protestant or a Scientologist or a Hebrew or a Sikh. You don't have that right at work because the First Amendment deals with government action, not private employer action. So please, can the fools and the clowns and the miscreants, the punditry on television and in print, quit talking about the NFL players' rights to freedom of speech? It does not apply. Zero, zilch, nada, never has, and never will. Secondly, I'll say this. For a long time, the ownership of the National Football League, some call it the National Felon League, have prohibited all kinds of expression by players directly and indirectly. The Dallas Cowboys, last year, Jerry Jones, last year wanted to have a decal on the side of their helmet that talked about and gave respect to the 5 Dallas police officers murdered in cold blood by devotees of Black Lives Matter. Now, they asked the National Felon League or the National Football League, can we put a small decal on the helmet for a game or two honoring those 5 dead cops? Roger Goodell, the son of a very liberal U.S. senator from New York named Charles Goodell, said no. He said we cannot allow our uniforms or stadiums to be used to advance any political cause. On 9/11 of the year 2016, about a year ago, Tennessee linebacker Avery Williamson wanted to honor 9/11 victims by wearing a patch that said never forget. The NFL said no. So the NFL said no to any political cause honoring dead cops, no to 9/11 survivors. It gets worse. R.G. Robert Griffin III wore a T-shirt at a post-game news conference that said, quote, no Jesus, no peace. No is spelled K-N-O-W, by the way. No Jesus, no peace. NFL fined him for wearing a T-shirt. It goes on and on and on. William Gay, a Steelers linebacker, wanted to wear purple cleats, which he said would bring awareness to victims of domestic violence because his mother had the crap beat out of her on a regular basis. All those things were turned down by the National Felon League because the league decided that we have rules against political causes of one type or another. So how in the world, how in the Hades is it possible for the National Football League last year to allow Colin Kaepernick to begin this protest against police brutality in support of Black Lives Matter is beyond me. The rule book is clear, if I may share it with you. Rule book says on page 62 of the league's game operation manual, quote, the national anthem must be played prior to every NFL game, and all players must be on the sideline for the national anthem. Did you hear the word must a couple times? Must. During the national anthem, players on the field and bench should stand at attention, face the flag, hold helmets in their left hand, and refrain from talking. The home team must ensure that the American flag is in good order. It should be pointed out to the players and coaches that we continue to be judged by the public in this area of respect for the flag and for our country. This is from the manual. Failure to be on the field by the start of the national anthem may result in discipline such as fines, suspensions, forfeiture of draft choices, violations of the above. So the NFL has a specific rule that says you must be on the field, Pittsburgh Steelers, Oakland Raiders, Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens. You must be on the field, and you have to act in a certain way. And they have no specific rule on supporting cops or supporting the victims of 9/11 or supporting Jesus Christ. But they eliminated all those from considerations by players because they did not want to become ensnarled in politics. Wise move. So last year when Colin Kaepernick started the protest that has now flowered with hundreds of players, the NFL had a clear opportunity. Roger Goodell had a clear opportunity to say to Colin Kaepernick, Colin, look at it this way. Look at the number of things we have said we can't do. We can't honor dead cops. We can't honor Jesus Christ. We can't honor the victims of 9/11. I understand your cause is police brutality and racial inequality, but like these other causes that players want to promote, where does it end? He should say, Colin Kaepernick, many players are against domestic violence. Some engage in it. We don't encourage pro or con any of that stuff. Global warming, war with North Korea, Iraq, Iran, whatever, the sea level is rising, the winds, whatever the cause is, abortion rights. We can't be a league that picks and chooses which causes we're going to support and which